what really drives my passion is a simple understanding that my job really is to be of service to people. And this is a quality I believe that comes naturally with myself. And I saw it best fit to occupy the space of being in government so that I could be of service. Now, why I said I'm a bit conflicted is that I promised to the president, I heard they term him the president, which is Freddie Nyatela, that I would come, and I've honored that. But I do have a challenge that my next appointment is quite due. And as a person, obviously, who believes we all need fair, equal opportunity to people and access to the very same government that I represent, unfortunately, I will not be going through the presentations and the slides. The unique part of the job is that now I was exposed by Freddie. Last week when I met him in Newtown, where I saw it live and experienced, you know, the young people, all dressed in black t-shirts, by the way, that the opportunities they had to operate these machines, the excitement, I could see it in their faces, and it left a lingering and an important impression in my mind that there's so many diverse opportunities to really nourish the talent, you know, the innovation for our young people, for the future of South Africa. And I want to applaud Freddie for his work. I've always spoken to him via emails. He's once engaged my boss, somewhat fighting for an opportunity to discuss certain opportunities with him. And the important thing was to see it live. It really left a good impression to me, and I want to encourage him with the work that he's doing and everyone else is doing. Also importantly was the gentleman before my colleague from the TVET colleges, who spoke very well, by the way, but was the gentleman before that, sorry, Glenn was his name. And you know what was profound in what he said? He says it's all about confidence. There's nothing more critical and more important than confidence. If we are to empower our people, our young people, our black South Africans, we need to inspire, we need to give them the opportunity so that they can build their confidence. You know, my job in writing these codes, they can be technical. We'll try and discuss what is real ownership in a company. Can you do it via, you know, this type of share, this type. But ultimately, what we are driving towards and what we are seeking to do is to provide opportunities. You know, there's two sports I like, but I think one takes priority. I'll start with the one that I don't really appreciate as much, which is soccer. You know, soccer, there's something we used to call, where I grew up, ishibobo. And that is ultimately taking the ball and putting it through the legs of someone and passing it on to the next person, or creating an opportunity for you to go the other way. You know, there's nothing as gratifying and providing, you know, the satisfaction than executing a shibobo. You know, there's nothing even better. Now, this is my favorite sport, and this is very conflicting. One, I'm Xhosa. I grew up in the Eastern Cape. I grew up under apartheid, but I fell in love with a sport called rugby, which started off in London. I noticed there's some people here in London. But there's another move within the rugby space where you dummy a pass. You make like you're going to pass to someone, in actual fact, and you don't, and that creates opportunity, and you take the opportunity and you go through. But that offers such gratification once you get that done. So really, what we need to do and what we need to focus in as an industry is to create those happy feelings, those gratifications, you know, those opportunities for young people seated there at the back. There's another man I ate lunch with, young boy. He is with Gear House, he called it. And he was explaining to me the great opportunity he's received. I could see it in his eyes that he really appreciates this opportunity that he's been given. And he's taking it all full with his whole hands. And I think BEE, and if we were to achieve any level of transformation in South Africa, we need to create the opportunities to learn and to develop for our people. And in doing so, it's really going to cause, you know, funny enough in South Africa, I know that Glenn spoke about it, and he somewhat rebuked the gentleman who was referring to black and white. I think the sad situation of our country is that nowhere else in the world where they've attempted a policy of redress, they faced a similar situation to South Africa. In Malaysia and the US, they have affirmative action, they have all these things. But in South Africa, it's unique because the majority of the population is excluded from the economy. And unfortunately, you know, Glenn, just to highlight from yourself, I know it's been a while since you've perhaps been around South Africa, but the important thing is that this exclusion was very much so deliberate. And unfortunately, it still persists and still exists. We may want to wish it away and say we've got a beautiful rainbow nation, but unfortunately, with my experience and my encounters with different sectors and different businesses, I really experience where it's deliberate, the exclusion. But that said, the only way to redress it is not through writing BEE codes and policies. I've written 3 iterations of this very same policy, and it's still not operating as it should be. And the sole purpose and sole reason for that is that people are not willing to provide the adequate opportunity and meaningful opportunity. You know, if you look at the transition of South Africa as a whole, why we have a fishing industry, why we have a vibrant agricultural industry, why we have organizations such as CESOL, such as these big organizations that we have, is that someone believed in someone, they had doubt in that person, but they created the opportunity and gave it to that person. They allowed him to fail. And that's the important thing. That's the only way we will make it work. All my opportunities I've had in life, it was only through someone giving me the chance, not, you know, watching me make a mistake, because I will make a mistake. That's how we learn. That's how we develop. And that the important thing is that we need to create at a large mass these opportunities for our people. And unfortunately, we've codified them, we've put them into codes, but ultimately, it takes one person at a time, each and every person here, to take heed of an opportunity, or a chance, or a gap, you know, that dummy pass opportunity to really grow and develop a person. And ultimately, you know, it'll take your one individual move, but it will culminate into a bigger situation, into a bigger scenario. You know, talking about what Glenn said, you know, I'm a product of taking opportunities, building confidence through that, and stopping at nothing to go for that opportunity, to grow and further myself. And if you want any example, you know, I won't discuss it now because I don't want anyone crying or doing anything. But I think what we should do, when I do get a chance, I want to share, you know, my experience. You know, there was a gentleman who raised a question about disability and the like. You know, so I had a situation where I had a bit of a challenge growing up. One, driven through the condition I have, which is albinism, that limited my eyesight. You know, so, and in limiting my eyesight, I had many challenges. In school, I literally had to sit in the front so that I can see. In university, I had to go sit in the front so that I could see. You know, and many people said, you shouldn't necessarily participate in sports, but you know what? Clearly I was not going to play cricket because I would fail to see the ball. But no one would stop me to play rugby because the ball, the sport size was big enough for me to catch it and have fun and play. And not only that, you know, in building that confidence, in taking up those opportunities that I had, you know, not only for anyone else, but purely for myself. Really, it has done a lot for me personally in my life. And my life goal really is to always nourish and always encourage, one with my own children, but with anyone that I encounter and engage, that it's all about opportunity, it's all about building confidence, as Glenn had said, and BE will not work unless our young people are willing to wake up and take up the opportunity. You know, just lastly, just as a point, I'll mention one that's related to my work as the last option, but the first thing I want to just mention, there was nothing more profound to me. You know, I decided with a group of friends, I like traveling. And I travel and I budget it well and I go wherever I need to go. And 3 weeks ago, I went to a place called Addis Ababa. It's called New Flower. and it's in Ethiopia. And you know, the experience how I got to go there was to say, you know what, I've never been there, I want to go there. Not alone, not for the beautiful women only, but just generally I thought, you know, I need to explore a new world. And you know, I found out, because I put it in my mind that I need to get to Addis, how am I going to get there? And I looked up a couple of flights, and lo and behold, Kenya Airways had a special, I think it's running, it's still running now, that you can go through Nairobi into Kenya and back for 2,500 rands. Now, I would have never known that if I had not explored that opportunity. You know, I took up the opportunity, I got on a plane. The first thing, I've never been on mostly, let's say, Kenyan Airways or whatever. You know, when I got on that plane, it was the best experience. I had a stop over in Nairobi. I went out and we had fun with my friends. We found a spot where we could eat called Carnivore. We had the best of times. And then most importantly was actually getting to Ethiopia, which was a special trip. If I had time, I'll tell you more. But nothing more profound than coming back. When we were flying back, I heard over the radio, I said, "This is your captain." And I was hearing a woman's voice. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, it's a 3 or 4 hour flight. And a lady's got controls over this. But you know what? I'll have a little prayer, and hopefully it'll all go well. And fortunately, it went very well. She flew us, she landed us in Joburg. That was one of the best landings I've ever experienced in my life. Like a little child with so much excitement, I never asked to go up front. And I went up front and I went to go speak to them. And lo and behold, it's not only the lady who was the captain, but the first officer was the lady. And the best thing about it is that these ladies were black. They were Kenyan ladies. And there was just, you know, they were, you know, and I had to applaud them. I shook their hands. I literally, like I was a little fan, I took photos of them, you know. But the important thing and the important lesson I took from there, and I shared it with my Facebook friends, that, you know what, in South Africa, that's what we need to do. You know, there's nothing as riskier for an airline to lose their safety record, to compromise the jobs that they create, and do all these things, but just to give an opportunity to that lady to fly that plane. It builds confidence for not only her, but those that are directly linked to her, and more importantly, those that see and observe her, like a so-called South African, who's got so much infrastructure happening here, so much other opportunities that are there. But it took two Kenyan ladies to really and truly inspire me. To know, you know, if I were to be given a chance, and most probably I will be, to revise all of this, and our main strive is to say, let's look out for opportunities. But in looking out for those opportunities, government can't do it on ourselves. I was speaking to a gentleman by the name of Liso. He was seated there, I think he's gone now. I know him from somewhere else. And you know, this guy's developed a beautiful app for Gautrain, and he's done a good job. And all we were talking about, the whole, you know, space, is that we didn't talk the race, the black and the white, but we just talked about how he's growing his business and how I can support him. Because I don't have money, but all I have is a network of people. I've got massive, literally every company that operates in South Africa, I can literally ask them, can I come see you? I can speak with the CEO. And that's what I want to do for him. And what I want to do for him, I told him, you know, I should look out for others, is that I know IBM. And the solutions he provides, why can't I provide that access, that opportunity directly to the IBM guys? And I think what needs to happen, us as government, we need to play our role where we facilitate the interaction, where we facilitate the creation of the environment and the opportunities. And that's our job, and we should stick to the job and try and do it as best as possible. But I need the SARAs, I need yourselves as industry to also understand the responsibility you have. Every time they mention Gearhouse, it's not mentioned in good terms. Unfortunately, I had to meet the young men right now. That perception is not good. And Gearhouse should strive their best to kill off that perception, and I know they're working hard at doing so. But that's the role, that's how we're going to succeed in getting this BE thing happening. Is that we have those big players providing those opportunities for those small players. And I think really this is not scripted, and unfortunately I apologize, Freddie, I'll come back for another opportunity, for another time to present on the codes of good practice. But I felt it's critical that we understand it for what it is and how we can make it work in South Africa, is to create those opportunities for those young people, because really they are the future, and there are many of them. There are many of these opportunities. And I'd like to applaud yourselves for the effort to coordinate and get the men from Ghana. I appreciate it. I've been to Accra, my man. I've been to Kwame Nkrumah's site, and I appreciated that journey. You know, they used to say a term to me, Akwabe. I assume it means, well, you're welcome, you know.
Akwaba.
Akwaba, here we go, my brother. And I've been on a trotro, I've been to, you know, the beautiful street where it was much active. And the important thing is that what made you a success was just like, you saw it from your dad, you know, just simplify these things. You saw it from your dad, you saw him make it happen. He had challenges, you know, you couldn't get a loan, but you had to source another creative way to source that loan. But you built on the opportunities that came and that came about. And then I want, if there's anything to learn, nothing from me really, because my job is really to serve you and facilitate the opportunities, is to learn from Glenn, to learn from yourself. How do we make things happen amidst many challenges that we face? So really, that's me in summary. I have to head off. Now I'm seeing a lady who's a pig farmer and who's so strange. She's got an albatross. Her biggest challenge is that she suffers, she can't get enough pigs to cut. And I have to honor that appointment with her. And I know it's way past so-called government hours, but that's the job. That's what we choose, and that's what we do, and that's how we should live our lives. We should learn to serve others, less complaining, seize opportunities, and make things happen.